Hey, welcome back to True Crime Unraveled. I've been going through that 175-page document, doing my own research, and I have come to a conclusion and a bombshell. Brett Payne lied on the stand, where he states that from the questioning of Ann Taylor, that they could not upload unknown male B and unknown male D because they didn't want it to destroy the DNA from the knife sheath. Well, later on in the hearing, DNA analyst Rylyn Nowlin said, and I quote, that you could upload more than one DNA. As a matter of fact, I have her exact testimony right here. For CODIS, DNA that goes into CODIS, what kind of profile is used? If I'm understanding the question correctly, there's different types of DNA profiles, and what goes into CODIS is known as an STR profile or short tandem repeat. Okay, the DNA off the knife sheath was just touch DNA. The unknown male B and unknown male D was blood DNA. So when Brett Payne stated that they didn't want to upload them because they didn't want to destroy the touch DNA on the knife sheath or the knife sheath DNA that was already uploaded, he lied because Ms. Nowlin stated right there in her testimony you could upload more than one profile and more than one type of DNA. As well as, we've heard that they didn't have his name until December 19th. According to Brett Payne's testimony, that they never heard of Bryan Kohberger until the 19th of December because of the quote unquote FBI giving them the tip. Well, according to Miss Nowlin, they didn't get the hit on Bryan until the 28th of December from the trash pull. So, what's exactly going on in this case? Where you have the manager of the DNA analyst at the ISP stating in her own testimony that you could upload more than one DNA profile, different IgGs, and they did not get the trash pull until the 28th of December. So Bryan Kohberger's name was not known until the 28th of December. And Miss Nowlin even testifies to that. Oh, and Miss Rylyn Nowlin actually admits she's not SNP profile certified, and they used a SNP profile in this case, as well as an STR. So they used the STR on the knife sheath as well as the SNP profile. Well, the SNP profile, she wasn't qualified for it. So she couldn't testify on the SNP profile since she was unqualified. What role did you have in deciding anything about that trash pull? Nothing about the trash pull occurring, I do recall. There is being a brief. I cannot remember if it was a phone meeting or a video meeting, and just being asked in general what items from the trash are good for DNA. And they don't recall. they don't recall from where male B came from, the unknown male B. I would only want you to testify based from your knowledge, uh, you know, from your own base knowledge. From my memory, I do not recall exactly where unknown male B came from. And she never heard of unknown male B until she heard the testimony of Brett Payne. Are you aware of unknown male B? That was from Ann Taylor. Miss Nowlin, I believe that was another sample from hearing the previous testimony. That was from In the House. Now, see, she's saying right there it was from In the House. And this is where Ann says, I would only want you to testify from your own base of knowledge. From my own memory, I don't recall exactly where it was from. So she contradicted herself right there. First, she said it was from In the House. And then she states a couple of lines later she don't recall where it was from. Now, there's corruption going on in this case, and there is. And me digging further and further into this transcript, I am uncovering that corruption. Brett Payne is lying on the stand. They didn't want to upload the unknown male B and unknown male D because they didn't want to pursue other suspects. They thought they had the guy in Brian. That's why they didn't want to upload any other DNA. That's why he used the excuse. If they uploaded it, it would destroy the DNA from the knife sheath. And are you aware Brian Koberger's DNA was in that trash? I was not aware. That came from Rylyn Nowlin. I became aware later we did not have his name at that time. You didn't know his name on December 28th? No, I did not. Okay, were you on December 28th? Were you aware that male E, but another male profile was identified? Yes, I would assume if you were looking at a larger part of the human genome that you would be getting a larger amount of information about someone. I have one more question about CODIS. Then I want to move on to a different area. You mentioned that there's 4 indexes and talked about a forensic index. Correct. What is that one used for? The forensic index is where profiles, not profile, like what Brett Payne wants us to believe, but profiles generated from items of evidence can be uploaded. See right there, she is basically saying you can upload more than one DNA profile. Where Brett Payne said that they couldn't because they didn't want to destroy the sample from that precious knife sheath. Oh, and I got another video coming out about that touch DNA on the knife sheath, so stay tuned to this channel. There are rules about what can be uploaded. Though it cannot match someone known to be the victim of a crime, it cannot match someone whose DNA should be in a place outside of a crime being committed. And here's the kicker. It cannot be taken directly from a suspect of a crime, where you would reasonably assume their DNA would be present. It must be related to a crime, and it must be believed to be from the uh, putative perpetrator of that crime. So they're saying right there, they you cannot take DNA from a suspect of a crime. So does that mean rule out the buccal swab? Because that right there is in their own mandates and bylaws. You can't take DNA from a suspect. So I think they should toss out the buccal swab, because that right there in that document states that they couldn't take DNA from a suspect. What is really going on, guys? So, number one, you have Brett Payne who's lying on the stand about how they couldn't upload the DNA to CODIS because it would destroy the touch DNA on the knife sheath. Number two, you have Miss Nowlin here basically stating you can upload more than one DNA profile to varying degrees. Number two, that whole 19th BS can fly out the window because they didn't get the DNA match for Brian until the 28th of December. And that's 2 days until his parents' home was arrested. 2 days before his parents' home was arrested. So why are they touting this December 19th timeline when the DNA manager stated verbatim that the name of Brian was unknown until December 28th? Why is this man still going through this? There's corruption running rampant in this case, and by God, I'm gonna find it. And you know what? I'm tearing apart this transcript page by page, word by word, and I'm finding it. Brett Payne is corrupt. Brett Payne perjured himself. You have a DNA manager of the ISP who is not SNP profile qualified. So is that why they sent the SNP profile off to the FBI? It's because the ISP wasn't SNP qualified, or at least the manager wasn't. And the whole December 19th of the MPD getting Koberger's name, Salai, they did not get his name until December 28th when the trash pull came back. This entire timeline is so screwed up. It's not even funny. And of course, you have Judge Hippler, who is very pro prosecution, very pro law enforcement, cut the legs out from under the defense by denying all their motions after giving them like a little bitty glimpse, a little bitty tease that he was going to look into the Franks hearing, and then he denied that. I'm going to tear this transcript apart, and that's what I've been doing the last 2 days. I'm already on page 76, and page 76, oh my God, that's where, on page 49, That's where I found about Rylyn Nowlin, where she basically threw Brett Payne under the bus by stating to Ann Taylor, you can upload more than one profile on Dakotas. And Brett Payne stating you couldn't load more than one profile because we didn't want to destroy the touch DNA from the knife sheath. Oh, and I found a whole lot of more stuff about that touch DNA on the knife sheath. It wasn't underneath the little thing for the button snap. And I got a video coming out about that later on today. I'm just getting into this. I'm just digging into this, doing my own research, and I'm finding a whole lot of corruption in this case. From day one, there's been corruption. But the MPD and Bill Thompson don't want us to see it because they got us fascinated with their left hand, and we can't see what their right hand is doing. I'm wondering if they're biting themselves in the butt now, releasing this redacted transcript. And yes, I printed that out, all 175 pages. So I could sit down and have it in front of me and read it. And I printed out a couple more documents, like the motion in the mind for the alibi. Found some stuff out about that too. The prosecution is stating in that it's too late in the game for Brian to come up with an alibi, even though he had a partial one early on for Why Park. They're stating if he tries now, they're going to be irrevocably prejudiced against that alibi. What's really going on in this case, guys? Let's see. There's corruption going on. There's a pro-prosecution, pro law enforcement judge going on. And there's very shady stuff going on. If you guys like this video, go ahead, hit the like button. And while you're here, hit that subscribe button for some of my new content I'm coming out with. You guys have a good Monday morning. This is True Crime Unraveled. I'm out. Have a good one, guys. And leave a comment down in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts on this new bombshell about Brett Payne lying.
Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun.